Hello, and welcome to Smug English for Scoundrels, the weekly digest of the peculiarities of the English language, helping you feel smarter than your friends since 1997. This week, we're talking about wiggle words. First, what is a wiggle word? Well, for our purposes today, we are going to call a wiggle word a common, real English word that is frequently used in place of another common English word, but used incorrectly. In other words, we're looking at words that have wiggled from one usage to another, frequently because they rhyme, just sound similar, or are being used by some dipshit who is trying to sound smarter than he really is. First, let's start with an example from the real world. And by real world, I mean the internet. This example of a misused wiggle word was taken from a blog, which shall remain nameless to protect the innocent. And by innocent, I mean smug like me who like to nitpick other people's blog entries. Here's the quote.
We were sitting there talking about people's lives as we know them to be, entirely based upon facts that we gleaned from reading their Facebook status updates.
The word this poor, misguided blogger is looking for is gleaned, G-L-E-A-N-E-D, not gleamed, G-L-E-A-M-E-D. So let's take a look at our first pair of wiggle words. Gleaned versus gleamed. Glean, G-L-E-A-N, means to extract information from various sources. So, glean means that you gathered information from something that you were either reading, looking at, or perusing, such as, I gleaned a remarkable amount of information from this box of grape nuts. But sadly, the cereal inside was like eating gravel. However, gleam, with an M, means to shine brightly, especially with reflected light, to use in a sentence. The chrome of the bumper gleamed as the old woman repeatedly rammed the car in front of her while trying to parallel park. Next up, we have a little triumvirate of poor abused and misunderstood words. I give you the following abattoir of English usage overheard in the parking lot of the Primanti Brothers, Don Air in Blawnox.
I was real weary of going over there. And people are all jagoffs.
Now, please, do your best to ignore the deplorable regionalisms, horrendous dialect transgressions, and diction that would make your average speech teacher wither in despair, and listen to that one poor little word in there. Weary. This brings us to our next set of wiggle words. Weary, wary, and leery. Weary, W-E-A-R-Y, means feeling or showing tiredness, especially as a result of excessive exertion or lack of sleep, as in, I grow weary of your constant nagging complaints. What our poor misguided Yinzer was most likely trying to say was something like wary, feeling or showing caution about possible dangers or problems, as in, I am wary of any activity that involves high places, broken glass, or clowns. Clowns. Anyway, very much like wary, but ever so tricky because it rhymes with weary, is that old bugger leery, which means cautious or wary due to realistic suspicions, as in, I am leery of anyone who drives a windowless van that says free candy on the side. So, to recap, you glean information from the instructions for that chainsaw, but the bumper gleams as it crashes through the wall of the McDonald's. I'm weary after running that marathon in white pumps, but I'm wary of anyone with creases in his jeans. I'm leery when someone offers to hand me one of the 6 snakes she's carrying. Thanks so much for listening, and be sure to listen next week when we'll take a look at some other gems, like the difference between moot and mute, which brings us sentences such as, "The deadline for the entries into that Elton John look-alike contest is past, so this argument about which pair of glasses I should wear is a mute point." Have a great week, and remember, with smug English for scoundrels, you are smarter than everyone else.